Hi Amelia, thanks for coming up with these two words that are indeed tricky to pronounce. There are a couple of things that I can see that might be causing you trouble, and a lot of those I think relate to the fact that you can't trust the spelling of English to tell you how to pronounce a word. And the letters in these words that are particularly tricky are the R letters, the R sounds. So in British English, you might have noticed that very often we don't actually pronounce the R or the when you see the R letter in a word. And we have a rule for that. And the rule is that the only time you pronounce R is if the next sound is a vowel. And this is where we need to think in sounds, not in spellings, because sometimes it can cause confusion if you're looking at what letter comes next rather than what sound comes next. But that's something for another lesson. So, taking that rule, let's look at this first word, murder. So after that first R letter, the next sound is D, which is a consonant. So we don't pronounce that first R. Then in the second syllable, the next sound after that R in that syllable is nothing. And nothing is also not a vowel. So actually, we don't pronounce either of those vowels. So it's pronounced murder, murder. If we then go on to look at the second word, where we've got this extra syllable, murder. So again, in mur, the next sound is a D, so we don't pronounce the or the R. But in the next one, because we've now got that extra syllable, actually, the next sound after the second R is a vowel, and so we do pronounce it. But again, at the end of the word, the next sound after that R is nothing, so it's not a vowel, so we don't pronounce it. So it becomes murderer, murderer. So repeat after me. We'll do both words. Murder, murderer. Okay, so that's the first issue. Now, when we remove these sounds that we might be used to pronouncing, we're left with having to pronounce vowels that are a little bit different to what we were doing before. Now, all of the vowels in these words are relaxed. And what I mean by that is that the lips are in a relaxed position, which means they're not smiling and they're not rounding, they're just relaxed. So, in the first syllable, we have relaxed lips, but the mouth is slightly open. Ma. Whereas in the other two, we have a sound that we call the schwa, which is by far the most common sound in the English language, although most native speakers probably haven't heard of it. So that one is again relaxed lips, but the jaw is closed. So let's compare those two. The first one is relaxed but more open. Whereas the second one is relaxed but more closed. Almost doing nothing. So we've got So if we add that together, in that first syllable for both of your words, it's ma, with the lips slightly open. Then in the second syllable, we have that schwa sound with it closed, duh. And then if we're going on to the third syllable, r. So we want ma-da-ra, ma-da-ra. Also, you might notice that I'm speaking in quite a high pitch for that first syllable. And that's because that's the stressed syllable and we really want to highlight it. So after me, one more time, the two words. Murder, murderer. Great. Now, actually, arguably, we could apply a couple more connected speech rules, but I think that's quite an advanced lesson, so we can maybe look at that another time. I hope that helps. Let me know if you still have questions. Have a lovely day. Bye, Amelia.